The ever-memorable Primera broke the stereotype about boring Nissan. After that, Micra and Murano came out. In general, the conservatives have almost reconciled themselves, so the appearance of a Beetle from Japanese comics on the roads of European cities did not make much of a splash. Well, yes, strange. What did they not see strange? In our country, it is a completely different matter. We have Juke definitely got a sexual orientation. Indefinite. Maybe that's why the girls liked him so much. Juke is really small, but it's also not too expensive. At least in the basic, completely uninteresting version. Uninteresting when you buy a new car and expect it to take you sky high. Yeah, with a 94 horsepower engine. However, after years on the secondary market, these cars may already be interesting. As a gift, for example, to a girl who passed the Unified State Examination, for rights, who received a diploma, or this, thank you, dear, for your son. The SUV from the Juke is almost non-existent. According to the technical regulations, it does not even fall into Group G. It did not come out with the clearance, only 160 millimeters. But his light character and fast motor transfer him, albeit mentally, to the expanses of Dakars and Silk Roads to fight with Kamaz trucks. A weird David Sen with a piece of pebbles from the Ryoangi rock garden in his fist. Apart from the clearance with the geometry, everything is fine. The approach angle is 29 degrees and the exit angle is 31 degrees. The crossover is equipped with 3 types of gasoline engines, all of the same volume, 1.6 liters, but of different power. It is clear that the basic option is a mono-drive machine with the weakest engine with a capacity of only 94 horsepower. All-wheel drive is offered only with the senior 190 horsepower turbocharged engine. And the cost of such a version began already beyond the mark of 1 million rubles. Therefore, the most common Nissan Juke in the secondary market is a front-wheel drive car with an intermediate engine with a capacity of 117 horsepower. So what surprises can await the new owner of the new Beetle? The most famous problem is the loss of traction on a winter track with a 117 horsepower engine with the HR16DE index. The check engine light comes on and the engine may even stall. It is impossible to start it right away. It is worth waiting a bit until the frozen throttle assembly warms up with heat from the collector. The second common nuisance can be the incorrect operation of the variator, and again in winter. The increase in speed occurs as if in jolts, as if a robotic box is working. In general, this little Nissan does not like cold weather. The suspension creaks, the bearing in the box makes noise. Some of the problems can be solved by changing all the oils, both in the engine and in the transmission, to more fluid. And change them more often. After all, we have rather difficult operating conditions and the car is also fast, especially with the turbo engine. If you do not want to spend money on maintenance often and in large quantities, take the front-wheel drive version with a naturally aspirated engine. This motor is produced in conjunction with Renault and easily passes 300,000 kilometers without significant problems. Yes, you can't fly with it, but brake pads are 4,500 rubles each. You'll have to change less often over the course of a couple. Yes, an MOT will need to be done not so often, and routine maintenance cannot be skipped, especially, again, for machines with the turbine. The MR16 DDT engine, the one that is turbo, even fell under a service campaign due to a leak in the fuel line gasket. In severe frost on the highway, condensate blocks the crankcase ventilation and squeezes oil through the dipstick. The turbine itself is quite tenacious, but in the event of a breakdown, its replacement will cost you 70,000 rubles. For the original without the cost of labor. By the way, the same turbine can be put on the atmospheric version. You can buy a restored one for 28 to 30,000, and just a second-hand one for 15 to 20. A repair kit of gaskets costs 2,500 rubles. Diesel K9K with a volume of 1.5 liters and a power of 110 liters. We are extremely rare. This motor is known from the Renault Duster, so there should be no problems with its maintenance. However, if you expect a leisurely ride, it is still better to stay on an atmospheric gasoline engine. It is quite economical and will not spend more than 10 liters of gasoline on a circle. A 5-speed manual box is not appreciated by either the owners or servicemen. Drivers do not like the choice of gear ratios and the fuzzy operation of the shift mechanism. Mechanics, problems with the noise of the input shaft, which is not recognized as a warranty case. If the bearing is not worn out yet, you can get off with an oil change, otherwise the whole box will be repaired. Mechanics 2, 5, and 6 speed. The 6-step is more convenient, but you need to turn the lever very quickly. CVTs, which are taken from Qashqai with a slight upgrade, require close attention only after 100,000 kilometers of run, and to a greater extent in cars with a turbo engine. Interestingly, the service book and service manuals do not indicate the frequency of changing the oil in the variator, but we recommend not to pull and change it at 60,000 kilometers, choosing the best one that is. Of the variators, and there are also 2 of them, it is worth preferring a simpler one without a manual mode. The interior of the Nissan Juke is good, but only comfortable in the 2+2 version. The equipment is rich, there are many options, even more original solutions. Of the shortcomings, it is worth mentioning the usual creaking of the panels in the cold and the rapid wear of the seat upholstery. Or rather, not wear, but loss of presentation. The same trouble can befall other places that the owner's hand touches, for example, the gear selector knob. And Juke has one more unpleasant feature. Due to the peculiarities of aerodynamics, all the debris that the front wheels lift up is swept into the open window. Rain, splashes, snow and mud can all be in the cabin, so keep an eye on the climate control, which, by the way, is quite reliable. The NDCS, Nissan Dynamic Control System is worth a special mention, and not because it breaks down often, but because it allows you to change the car's settings so noticeably that at first you don't believe your eyes, and how it changes the lighting of the front panel. Such a perky and unusual car with all its appearance resists the dull swarming in the statistics of failures. However, this is exactly what the future owner should do by looking through the service book, otherwise he will have to count not only the rubles that need to be paid for repairs, but also the hours spent away from his beloved car. And falling in love with Juke is very easy, regardless of gender and age.